Once upon a time in the bustling suburbs of Atlanta, Georgia, lived Eleanor Hawthorne, a 68-year-old widow who had spent her life building a home filled with love, sacrifice, and unspoken expectations. Her husband, Robert, had passed away 10 years earlier from a sudden heart attack, leaving her to manage their modest three-bedroom house alone. Eleanor had worked as a school librarian for decades, saving every penny, denying herself vacations and small indulgences to support her only child, Daniel, now 45, and his family. Daniel was married to Vanessa, a sharp-tongued marketing executive who always seemed to have a plan for everyone else's life. They had 2 children, a teenage son, Liam, who was polite but distant, and a daughter, Sophia, 22, who was Eleanor's quiet confidant. Daniel and Vanessa had fallen on hard times recently, job losses, mounting debts, and had moved in with Eleanor, temporarily, 6 months ago. What started as a short stay had turned into a permanent takeover, with Vanessa redecorating rooms and Daniel treating the house like his inheritance. It all came to a head one humid Friday evening during family dinner. Eleanor had spent the afternoon preparing her famous pot roast, mashed potatoes, and green beans, setting the table with her grandmother's china. As they sat down, Eleanor at the head, Daniel and Vanessa opposite, Liam fiddling with his phone, and Sophia avoiding eye contact, Daniel cleared his throat. "Mom, we need to talk about the living situation," he said, his voice firm, like a boss addressing an employee. "Vanessa and I have been thinking. The master bedroom is huge, and you're just one person. We could use the space for our home office setup. You can move to the guest room, it's cozy enough." Eleanor paused, fork midway to her mouth. "Daniel, that's my room. I've slept there for 40 years. It's where your father and I—" "Exactly," Vanessa interrupted with a saccharine smile. "It's outdated. We can freshen it up. Think of it as helping the family." Sophia glanced up, her eyes wide, but said nothing. Liam shifted uncomfortably. Eleanor felt a familiar pang, the one that came from years of yielding. But tonight, something snapped. It wasn't rage or sorrow, it was clarity, sharp and unyielding. "Or what?" Eleanor asked quietly. "If I say no?" Daniel leaned forward, his voice rising. "Mom, don't make this difficult. Either give us the room or pack your bags. This house is big enough for all of us if you cooperate." The words hung in the air like smoke. Vanessa smirked, expecting compliance. Sophia bit her lip, staring at her plate. Liam looked away. No one defended her. Eleanor set down her utensils, her hands steady. "Fine, Daniel, I'll pack my bags." The silence was deafening. Daniel blinked, confused, as if he'd expected tears or pleas. Vanessa let out a nervous laugh. Sophia's head snapped up in surprise. Eleanor stood, folded her napkin neatly, and walked to her room, still hers for now, with her back straight. That night, while laughter and clinking glasses echoed from downstairs, Eleanor sat on her bed, phone in hand. She wasn't crumbling, she was planning. Her best friend, Marjorie, had texted her a link weeks ago to a quaint cottage for sale in Charleston, South Carolina, a 2-hour drive away, with a porch overlooking the marshes and Atlantic. "Eleanor, imagine us sipping tea at sunset," Marjorie had written. Eleanor had laughed it off then, but now she reopened the listing. The cottage was charming. 2 bedrooms, a sunny kitchen, a garden out back. Price, $295,000. Eleanor opened her banking app. Her savings, built from years of frugality, freelance bookkeeping gigs after retirement, and denying herself luxuries, totaled $350,000. She'd funded Daniel's college, his first apartment, his wedding, even bailouts during his layoffs. But this was hers. A dizzying freedom washed over her. "This money is mine," she whispered. The next morning, at dawn, Eleanor called the realtor, a brisk woman named Ms. Harper. "I'd like to view the property today," Eleanor said. "Today? Well, all right, meet me at 10 a.m. Daniel stumbled downstairs at 9, rubbing his eyes. "Breakfast ready, Mom?" "No," Eleanor replied, sipping coffee. "I'm heading out." "Where?" "An appointment." She grabbed her keys before he could protest. Daniel snorted. "Don't be long. Vanessa needs a ride to her interview." "Won't be able to," Eleanor said, shutting the door behind her. She drove to Charleston with the windows down, classic jazz playing softly. It had been ages since she'd driven alone, without errands or emergencies pulling her back. The salt air invigorated her as she arrived at the cottage. Ms. Harper greeted her warmly. The place was even better in person. Light-filled rooms, creaky hardwood floors, a porch with rocking chairs facing the water. "What do you think?" Ms. Harper asked. It's perfect. I'll take it. The realtor's eyes widened. Just like that. I've waited long enough for decisions like this, Eleanor said. They signed preliminary papers on the spot. The cottage was vacant, closing in 48 hours possible with a cash offer. Eleanor nodded. Make it happen. Back home that evening, Daniel and Vanessa were in the kitchen, using her pots as if they owned them. Where were you? Daniel demanded. Handling business, Eleanor said, heading upstairs. She packed methodically. Clothes, jewelry, photos of Robert and young Daniel, important papers. No one checked on her. That night, Daniel yelled from below, "Mom, dinner." "Order in," she called back. Murmurs followed, but no confrontation. The next day, Eleanor called Marjorie. "I need a favor. Come with me to the lawyer." Marjorie arrived promptly. They drove to attorney Lisa Grant's office, a friend from Eleanor's book club. Eleanor explained everything. The ultimatum, the cottage purchase, her plan to sell the Atlanta house. Lisa nodded. "The house is yours free and clear. We can list it today at $550,000, market value. It'll move fast." "Do it," Eleanor said. They updated her will too. 50% to Sophia, 50% to Daniel, with a no contest clause. If anyone challenged it, they got nothing. Leaving the office, Eleanor felt empowered, like reclaiming lost years. Back home, she maintained routines but with detachment. Daniel and Vanessa occupied her room now, rearranging without apology. One afternoon, Vanessa handed her a shopping list. Steaks, wine, cheeses, $200 worth. "For our housewarming party," Vanessa said. Eleanor folded the list. "Pay for it yourselves." Vanessa gaped. "This is your house." "Not anymore," Eleanor thought, but said, "If it's your party, your bill." Daniel stormed in. "Mom, what's with you? You're acting weird." "I'm acting like someone who's done being a doormat," Eleanor replied. They argued. Accusations of selfishness flew, but Eleanor held firm. "You yelled at me to pack." "So I am." That night, she texted Marjorie, realizing how much I lost pleasing them. "You're reclaiming it now," Marjorie replied. The realtor called. Interest in the house was high. Showings scheduled when Daniel was out. 3 couples viewed it that week. By Friday, an offer, $540,000. "Accept," Eleanor said. She signed papers discreetly, closing in days. Saturday, Vanessa cornered her. "We got evicted from our old place permanently. Can we stay longer?" "No," Eleanor said. Daniel exploded. "Your family. You can't abandon us." "I'm not. Solve it like adults." They pleaded, manipulated, but Eleanor stood her ground. "I've helped for 45 years. Enough." That night, threats of lawsuits echoed, but Eleanor knew her legal footing. Sunday, Sophia called. "Grandma, Dad told me. You sold the house." "Yes, dear." "Good. What he said at dinner was wrong. You deserve better." Eleanor's heart warmed. "Visit me anytime." Monday, closing day. Marjorie drove her. The buyers, a young family, signed eagerly. Check in hand, $540,000. Freedom. They celebrated with lunch. "Told them," Marjorie asked. "Tonight." Home, Eleanor gathered Daniel and Vanessa. "I sold the house. You have until Wednesday to vacate." Chaos ensued. Yells, tears, denials. "You can't." Daniel roared. "I did. Legally mine." Vanessa accused cruelty. Eleanor countered. "Cruelty is how you've treated me." They threatened suits. Eleanor shrugged. "Try it." Upstairs, she packed final items. Marjorie helped move boxes to storage. Tuesday, Daniel tried reconciliation. "I'm sorry, Mom. Let's fix this." "Too late," Eleanor said. "I've decided." Wednesday morning, she loaded her car. Daniel watched, defeated. "Where to?" "Charleston. My new home." He nodded. "Be safe." Eleanor drove away, no regrets. Marjorie met her at the cottage. They unpacked, laughed, sipped wine on the porch as waves crashed. "You're free," Marjorie said. "I am." Days blurred into peace. Eleanor walked beaches, joined a knitting group, volunteered at a local library. Friends emerged. Widows like her, sharing stories of reclaiming life. Sophia visited first, bonding over sunsets. Dad's struggling, but changing. "Good," Eleanor said. A month later, Daniel's letter arrived with an old photo, him as a boy, her pushing him on a swing. "Mom, I'm in therapy. Realizing my mistakes. Sorry for using you. Working on change." Eleanor cried hopeful tears. 2 months on, Vanessa texted apologies, indirect but sincere. 3 months, a gathering at the cottage, friends, Marjorie, Sophia. Toasts to boundaries, peace. Marcus called weekly now, conversations genuine. No asks, just connection. Eleanor, at 68, finally lived for herself. Mornings, coffee on porch. Afternoons, books, walks. Evenings, stars over sea. One sunrise, barefoot on sand, she reflected, left behind entitlement, gained dignity. What do I need? Peace, freedom, self.